Okay, so I'm just going to recap Boss of Bosses from last weekend, which took place in Mountain View, California on August 25th, a day after my 27th birthday. So pretty much for the last 3 years I've been in Mountain View, California for my birthday, which I can't complain about. But as far as the meet, no, it did not go as planned. So I cut 13 pounds from Monday morning until Friday morning. I started my cut Monday morning, that is, and I was 254.5 on the scale, and I had to make 242.5 by Friday morning. So I actually undercut it by a pound and weighed in at like 241.5 for a total of 13 pounds. And in hindsight, this was probably not the best decision to cut that much weight. I actually have cut more. I've cut like 22 at one point, but I think, as I'll get to here in a minute, I think that is part of the reason that I had this injury occur at the meet. So, because I was so dehydrated, basically. So I think that's a big part of it. But on squats, I put a lot of work into squats this prep. I wanted to be squatting effortlessly and really focus on that, and that worked. Squats felt better than they ever have. The 672 opener was super easy. I went to 733, again, super easy. And then I went to 782.6, which would have been a 5 kilo PR. And I walked it out, wasn't shaking at all. Usually I'm shaking quite a bit on my third attempt with the weight on my back. I wasn't shaking at all. I felt completely stable. The walkout was as smooth as you'll ever see from me. I just took 2 steps and I was perfectly fine. And even on the way down, I felt tight the whole way down. Everything felt great. I got right to the very bottom and I felt a big snap on the side of my leg. And anybody who guessed it as a quad tear, you were correct. I got an MRI on Friday to see if I would need surgery or anything, see how serious it was. And they confirmed it's a partial tear of the vastus lateralis, the outer quad. No surgery required. It's actually feeling a lot better now, 11 days later. But that really threw my game off because obviously I couldn't complete the squat after that. So I took 800 milligrams of ibuprofen that day, went on to continue the meet. It hurt whenever I would try to initiate leg drive on my right leg, but I didn't really have any problems benching. The main problem with bench, as I tried to match my meet PR on my third attempt, was that my left elbow had been bothering me all meet prep and it flared up again. So after the second bench, it was really flared up, and as soon as I started bringing the third one down, I knew it wasn't going to be there because my arms just basically gave out under the pain. So the major thing with this meet prep, or whenever the next meet may be in this off-season phase, will be to keep my elbows healthy enough where I can actually make progress in my bench. Because as good as my squat felt and how much it improved, I really feel like I'm spinning my wheels here on bench and deadlift, as is really the case. Like, I pulled 865 on deadlift in January at the meet where I totaled the 2100, but I really would like to make more significant progress on my bench and deadlift, and I feel like I know how I'm going to do that, as you'll see from my training coming up. So squat, bench and deadlift were a little disappointing, and with deadlift I had to kind of change my form up. I widened my stance out, I widened my hands out, and I just slowed down my pull. So all the explosion I usually have, that was kind of gone. I had to be a lot more tentative with the weight, and it threw things off a little bit. I still don't think I would have pulled a PR of like 882 or anything, even if I was healthy, but it definitely took a little weight off what I could have done. So I ended, I think, 6 for 9 or 7 for 9 with a 2017 total, which I think is like my 4th total of 2,000 or more in sleeves. Hey, you're making a lot of noise. And this was good enough to place 2nd overall out of 12 guys in the raw sleeves class. So it wasn't a total loss, but I feel like I could have placed 1st or at least been right there if I had not suffered this injury. So it kind of stinks, but whatever. I really, even with all that said, with or without the injury, I don't know if I would have been able to beat that 2100 total that I hit in January. So squat was dialed in 100%, felt great. I literally felt like I could put 800 on my back and squat it. But bench and deadlift were kind of a wash. So good and bad from this meet. And I do know what I'm going to do moving forward as far as my training and everything. So I'm not worried about that. But that's pretty much it. And I'll just go through, you'll see the videos now, I'll go through each lift. One other thing, because I said I would do this, so Herb Strong, they've also, I think, worked with like Kaylor Woolham and some other guys. They offered me some free product to try their stuff out, CBD cream and CBD oil, see if I liked it. So they gave me, this is a CBD cream. I said I'd give them a shout out in exchange for this stuff, try it out. And this was mainly, I was using the CBD oil and the CBD cream to try to heal my elbows up. And I think it helped a little bit, but it's really hard to say to what extent. So it's one of those things you're going to look into with the CBD stuff. It's going to be like supplementing whatever else you're doing to heal an injury or recover from something. It's not something that's going to completely get rid of it. But I feel like that's an objective point of view that's fair. Like I think it does have some merit, but it's going to be just supplementing all the other recovery stuff you're doing. So there you go. If you want some of that, I'll just put the link in the description. But other than that, I just really would like to get my total up. That's the main thing. And like I said, I have ideas with how I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to a more DUP split and bench 3 days a week, squat 3 days a week, deadlift 3 days a week with different variations of each. So for bench, I'm actually doing the American press bar on my first bench day, which is like a football bar or a Swiss bar with the neutral grip. And then my second bench day, I'm going to do dumbbell bench again because I've gotten away from that and I feel like it always works for me. So it's something I'm going to go back to. Then my third day is going to be straight bar. And the other thing you'll see, like, I completely changed my bench form up about a week before this meet. So I widened my grip way out, 2 middle fingers on the rings. I'm arching more, I'm bringing my feet back further, and it's alleviating a lot of that pressure on my elbows. So I'm really just looking into everything I can do to keep my elbows healthy, because that was the major problem. And then with deadlift, I just think I need more volume overall, more variations like block pulls, go back to the pause deadlifts, things like that. And I think that'll help me finally break through this plateau, because if we're being real, deadlift has kind of been plateaued for about 2 years now, and I'm just ready to get it moving again. But here's the meet footage. I'll go through it with you guys. Thanks for watching, of course. Give it an upvote if you like the video, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting me through thick and thin. I know this wasn't the best meet ever, and the April meet was a disaster, but as close as January, that was my best meet ever. So I'd say I'm still in the game. You know, I've been doing this 12.5 years, and I'd like to think I'm still relevant. I mean, I'm ranked like 3rd in the 242s behind Kevin Oak and Larry Wheels, so not bad company. But obviously I have bigger aspirations, and I'm going to really work hard to get to that point. So thanks, guys. Okay, guys, so this is my opening squat from Boss of Bosses. 672.4 pounds. I actually went a little lighter than what my coach wanted me to do, Chris Nicolai. He wanted me to open at like 705, but I just wanted to open really light and make sure it was an easy lift, because there's always some jitters and nerves going into a big meet like this. So obviously that was super easy, and right there was when I knew it was going to be a good day on squats, or at least I thought, up until the injury. But yeah, I opened light at this meet just to gain some confidence. Made about a 60-pound jump up to 733, which really isn't a big jump for me. I'm used to going up like 90 to 110 pounds in training, so this wasn't anything crazy. Right here, it felt really good walking out. Didn't feel heavy at all. I got my feet set. Felt really stable right here. Stayed tight the whole way down, and it came up pretty easy. So I was really surprised actually at how easy that one felt. And I went up to 355 or 782.6 pounds. And before the meet, I'd even thought about going up to 788, which is 357 and a half, but I just figured any PR would be good at this point, this was going to be an 11-pound PR. So I tried to play a little more conservatively. Right here, unracking it, doesn't feel that heavy, honestly, for how much weight it was. Took 2 steps. I was real stable, not shaking at all here. Got my air, was holding my air all the way down, and right there at the very bottom, on my right leg, I felt my quad tear. So that was pretty painful, and definitely not how I wanted to start the day. I was really mad after that because I knew I had that weight in me. So it was just disappointing to know I had it in me, and then I had something like that occur that's really outside of my control at that point, because I felt in control with the weight the whole way down. So moving on to bench, opening at 430. Bench really didn't go well this prep, like I said earlier. So I felt like this was the right balance between being conservative and keeping it somewhat heavy. So as you can see, the wider grip I was talking about, much wider grip than you're used to seeing with me. And you'll also notice my feet are behind me. So with that in mind, I went up to 452, which was the plan all along. So this wider grip and bringing my feet back gives me a little more of an arch and less range of motion, and I'm able to break the bar in half more with my hands, which cuts down on the elbow pain. So basically I did all this stuff to prevent elbow pain. And right here, this actually felt pretty decent. This was the highest I'd gone in training, actually, this meet prep. I went up to 452 and that was it. And this felt pretty good. I felt right there, it slowed down a little about halfway up, but I felt in control with it. Problem was that after this lift, basically my left elbow was shot, which was the thing that was holding me back all meet prep from getting my bench up. My left elbow was hurting like crazy here, so I really knew this was going to be a long shot anyway. But this would have tied my best bench in a meet. So, but I really had a lot of doubt going into this one based on how inflamed the elbow was. So this is 463, and basically as soon as I unrack it, I knew it wasn't going to happen. Like I didn't feel in control with it. My elbow was hurting like crazy. Right there, I'm actually wincing. So I just knew right there, no chance. And that's why I barely budged it off the chest. It's just too painful. So moving on to deadlifts with the quad tear on my right side of my leg. I was able to move, but I didn't have a lot of stability, so my stance is quite a bit wider here, as are my hands. And I'm slowing down my pulls. I'm trying to get tight and slow my pull down. And that really didn't feel fast at all. It felt pretty slow for 727. So I just went up to 804. And I really didn't know what I was going to be capable of hitting. I didn't have much. My balance was off, my stability was off because of the injury. So this felt like a decent jump that I knew I could hit no matter what. Again, slowed the pull down quite a bit. Wouldn't say it moved fast, but it wasn't terrible. But at this point, I knew I definitely didn't have a PR or anything in me. So I just thought 832 would be around where I would have my true potential on this day. And I wasn't excited at all going into this because I pulled way more than this in a meet. But sometimes you have to take what's there on the given day. So right here, a little slow. Maybe I had 2.5 more kilos, 838. My reaction at the top, I looked at Kelly and I was just like, oh, that's the best I got today. Not that great, but what are you going to do? So, it's scrolling way too fast here.